Okay. Yeah, so we got a new FNAF video, FNAF video here that I'm gonna react to real quick. You know what? I'm literally like not even gonna waste time with the intro and everything. I'm gonna try and actually react to it without like pausing and either arguing or agreeing with him because I know his theories can be shaky from time to time. But no, yeah, let's just hop right into it. Let's just see. Okay. Does that mimic? Yeah. Ah, man. Where is this going? What is this?
Throughout the years, it's become clear that Five Nights at Freddy's was never supposed to end. Game after game, Scott Cawthon.
Okay, you're already. It was supposed to end after FNAF 4. That's why it was called the final chapter. But sure.
Couldn't help but
Sure.
think that the story wasn't over, despite us believing that each game would be the last. But then
Yeah,
Pizzeria
that's-
Simulator and Ultimate Custom Night came along, and that actually was the end, at least for Scott's games. But that doesn't mean that those last two games didn't tease that the story wasn't over. I think
what? Wait, hold on. What are you saying?
Despite us believing that each game would be the last. But then Pizzeria Simulator and Ultimate Custom Night came along, and that actually was the end, at least for Scott's games. But that doesn't mean that those last two games didn't tease that the story wasn't over. I think they did, whether Scott intended them to at the time or not. I believe Scott has been dropping hints about where the current story is going for years now. This theory is a wild one, and I promise you don't want to miss it. Let's get started. Because of the way FNAF gained popularity, Scott has had to tell the story of FNAF backwards. He didn't know that FNAF 1 would be as popular as it was, and he definitely didn't have a story planned out.
You know, I did not have the entire story planned out. Oh, you know, some kind of mad genius that
Why are you cutting out bits of the interview? Show the full clip.
had, you know, 7 games planned out from the beginning. No, I didn't.
So we had to take the details from the first game and make them make sense in the second game. Details that he didn't think twice about when making the first FNAF game now had to make sense with the story he was crafting in the second game. If Scott wants a detail from the past games to mean something, he can make it mean something. And I think he's doing that right now with the circus. In my last video,
Bro, okay. Nah. Before we go into before you say whatever you're going to say, let me just say this. When Scott made that post saying to use the novels, the novel trilogy to solve the games, he meant until FNAF 6. At least from FNAF 1 to Sister Location, because that's where their stories those were the stories where they were relevant. But with the new lore, with Steel Wolves lore, that's what we have Tales and Frights for, both of which are canon, by the way. But yeah, that post doesn't apply now, and I don't know why you've still been using the books. Oh my goodness, you've still been using the books to make your current theories. I'm not saying they're bad. It's just that right now the Steel Wolves made it clear they're moving on to a new story. And we should respect that and, you know, try and follow what the story they're telling and not use books from 2016 to figure out what's happening in 2023.
I told you about all of the connections to circus and carnivals recently. There was this found in the game files of Ruin that says something cool that maybe foreshadows Carnival. We've got the carnival-themed mascot costumes in Ruin. A carnival was brought up in the epilogues of the Tales books, and we've got a circus happening in the background in Fury's Rage. I also explained that these new games seem to be telling a similar story.
And then we have this. So, okay, so with this, here's what I think. Yes, Security Breach lines up, heavy quotes on that, with the Silver Eyes, and Ruin lines up with Ruin. But I don't think that each book specifically lines up to one game. I'm thinking that all 3 books line up with all of the games, just in different ways, and some books more than one. I don't think it's specifically like Silver Eyes to Security Breach, Twisted Ones to Ruin, in the 4th Closet to Help Wanted 2. No. And I also don't... You know what? Never mind.
To the Silver Eyes trilogy, and where that story ends is Circus Baby's Pizza World, a circus-themed restaurant. All signs are pointing to that we're probably heading to some sort of circus in the future, and the only...
Okay, let me... We're heading to Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rentals, Bear for short. Yes, that's where we're headed. I don't know if there's any carnival involved.
Circus-themed place we know of in this franchise is Circus Baby's Pizza World. The only place we've ever seen Circus
The carousel.
Baby is in the Silver Eyes trilogy. And the Silver Eyes trilogy made something very clear. The theme of Circus Babies is clowns. There are clowns...
Why do you keep going back to the Silver Eyes?
Everywhere in this place. Clowns on the walls, people dressed up as clowns, clown animatronics. Scott obviously wanted to drill this into our heads. Keep that in mind for later.
No. My lord.
The only place we've ever seen Circus Babies
This is gonna be a long-ass reaction
video. The
video.
trilogy made something very clear. The theme of Circus Babies is clowns. There are clowns everywhere in this place. Clowns on the walls, people dressed up as clowns, clown animatronics. Scott obviously wanted to drill this into our heads. Keep that in mind for later. During my
Because it's called Circus Babies. So it'd be fitting enough to have clowns in the circus place.
search for more proof regarding Circus Baby's Pizza World, I immediately thought of the Circus Gallery in the sister location bunker. This is the main room that Circus Baby was being held in, but based on it being called the Circus Gallery, I'm guessing there were also a bunch of things from Circus Baby's Pizza World in that room. In my last
No, it's
video,
just
I told
Circus
you that
Baby and the
Circus
Bitty
Gallery is
Babs.
connected right to Fredbear's Family Diner.
Yeah, and you also said that Circus Gallery is where the Mimic is.
Why is this important, you ask? Because on the map in sister location, we can see Fredbear's Family Diner, connected right to Baby's room, the Circus Gallery, the same room that I believe the Mimic was being held in.
The Mimic was being held in the Circus Gallery. That makes sense, ignoring Tails.
And I explained why I think the FNAF 6 pizzeria is Fredbear's Family Diner. I said that the alleyway Easter egg in FNAF 6...
I agree that FNAF 6 is Fredbear's, but I don't see what that has to do with Baby.
look just like the alleyway where Charlie was killed, and the whole point of the game is upgrading and reusing an old pizzeria. Fredbear's Family Diner was owned by Henry, so it would only make sense that he would reuse the restaurant he already owns. But that's where I left it. I had no more proof, until I found something.
Proof of what?
That's been right in front of our faces for years now. During the office gameplay of FNAF 6, if you turn everything off, you can...
Oh, no. I know exactly what he's gonna say. So you have the Rockstar drawings here, you have Lefty here, and then you have Fredbear here.
Actually hear the restaurant operating. You can literally hear the kids playing, indicating that the office game...
What? What? Wait.
You can literally hear the kids playing, indicating that the...
I want to hear that one more time.
Operating. You can literally hear the kids playing, indicating that the office game...
What? What are you hearing?
You can literally hear the kids playing, indicating that...
What? Where are you hearing that? What kid? What?
That the office gameplay area is connected directly to the restaurant. This is further proven by the drawings on the walls. These
Just look
drawings
at the
feature
in-game
characters
map.
We see in FNAF 6. We see the Rockstar animatronic
You're surround-
Lefty. But there's one drawing of a character that isn't featured in FNAF 6 at
Fredbear.
all. Fredbear. Why?
Oh my god. I knew it.
Why would there be a drawing of Fredbear in this office?
Do you know why? Because the location we're in is Fredbear's. So you'd think there'd be a Fredbear drawing in there, right?
Well, it's because this place used to be Fredbear's. But
There you look at that. Look at that. Guys, round of applause for FNAF. He figured it out.
If this place used to be Fredbear's, like I said earlier, Fredbear's was connected directly to the circus gallery. And what if I told you that there's one more drawing in this office that doesn't belong? If you look to your right and turn up the brightness, you can
The clown picture. Wow. And what are they? Look at this dude. With the he has the Paranorman hair. Right here. Like, okay. I mean, where are you going with this? Where are you gonna take? Where are you gonna go with this very arbitrary drawing right here? Where are you gonna go with this?
see a clown poster, the one thing heavily associated with circus babies. So we've got Fredbear indicating that this place used to be Fredbear's, and we've got a clown indicating that this place is directly connected to the circus gallery.
I don't think that's what this drawing indicates, but what, okay. I don't get how you get circus, wait.
Be Fredbear's, and we've got a clown indicating that this place is directly connected to the circus.
I don't know how you get, that's an insane leap of logic to get that circus gallery connects to Fredbear's from this. That is the biggest leap of logic I've ever seen, but whatever.
Circus gallery. But are we sure that this clown represents circus babies? I mean, there is the lemonade
No,
and fruit
we're
punch
not.
clown in FNAF 6, so it could
No, we're not certain, but you seem to be.
just be a creepy drawing of one of them. I needed a little more proof. And while researching, I could have sworn that I've seen a similar clown poster before.
And let me get, he's gonna say the Golden Freddy thing in Help Wanted, Cursed Dreadbear.
The first instance of a clown showing up in this franchise that I can remember was in the first real teaser we got for FNAF 6, where we see Scrap in an alleyway with a clown on the wall, further solidifying the connection between clowns and circus babies. The next time we see a clown in this franchise is in Lefty's secret alleyway cutscene in FNAF 6. On the wall, we see a poster that's meant to represent the Afton family. We've got William and Michael, the crying child
If you mention that puppet picture in the right, I swear to God,
as a bear with sharp
that has
teeth for
nothing to do
obvious
with this.
reasons, and then a clown to represent Elizabeth, aka Circus Baby. This clown has a wide smile and is wearing green and purple pants. This clown is actually featured again in Scrap Baby's cutscene on a different poster. The same clown with the green and purple pants.
Charlie and Elizabeth must be connected.
Once again being associated with Circus Baby. This same poster can be found in the Ultimate Custom Night office as well, and it seems to be advertising a circus, which is presumably Circus Baby's Pizza World. The
Dude, that's literally the exact same poster. It's a reused asset.
poster features the clown, an elephant, and the words, "You don't want to miss it." There's also some other letters at the top of this poster in purple and green that I can't seem to make out. So if you have any idea what this says, let me know in the comments below. For years now, we've all assumed that Circus Baby's Pizza World features Circus Baby and probably the Fun Times too. But I think what these posters and the Silver Eyes trilogy were trying to tell us was that it was much more than that. Previously, I told you that
What?
the circus-themed mascot costumes we see at the end of Ruin actually showed up in the Silver Eyes trilogy first, and that these costumes were used to force
Dude, you are obsessed with the Silver Eyes trilogy. Debbie, I'm curious if you've read Frights or Tales. No, you have. But still.
shadow us going to Circus Baby's Pizza World in the next book. And considering we get a literal elephant costume dressed up like a clown in Ruin, just like how we get an elephant on the poster for Circus Babies, I can only assume that the games are headed in the same direction. And the idea that there were more than just the fun times at Circus Baby's Pizza World isn't new. One of the biggest unsolved mysteries in FNAF history has to do with Night 4 of Sister Location. The
What? Where was Night 4 of Sister Location ever a prominent discussion in the theorist community? You're gonna say it's a springlock suit. It is, but you're gonna say it was.
suit that Baby puts
I'm
us
just
into
waiting
has
for
remained
it,
a
man.
mystery to this day. We learned that it came from Baby's old pizzeria, aka Circus Baby's Pizza World.
You're inside something that came from my old pizzeria.
It's been
Okay, so my guess where you're going is that, I know I paused again, is that you're saying the springlock suit is maybe the Jester costume, and that the Mimic wore it somehow, or something like that. You're gonna connect it. I know where this goes.
It's been so hard to figure out what this is because it's unlike anything we've seen in this franchise. The suit seems to have faceplates, just like the Funtime animatronics, but it's definitely not as high-tech. The suit also seems more handmade, with the inside of it almost having a leather texture. It's like this is an older version of the Funtimes, but more handmade, and more like
Just
an
a
actual
costume.
Like I said, this is unlike anything we've seen in this franchise.
I know where this is going. You're gonna say it's the Jester costume. I can see directly through you.
Until I did a little more digging. About a month before Security Breach came out, some official concept art of Scott's designs got posted online. This is the concept art. Upon first glance, these look like mascot costume versions of Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica. But if you look closer, you can see that these aren't just costumes. These are costumes with faceplates and stomach hatches, just like the Funtimes. These are literally older versions of the Funtimes, just like the suit we were put into on Night 4 of Sister Location. The faceplates are even placed in a similar way to the costume we see on Night 4, with them appearing on the front of the face separate from the rest of the head. But the suit on Night 4 was a Springlock suit.
I'd recommend that you keep this.
It's not the Jester
Does that
costume, bro.
also mean these are Springlock suits? Well, like I
No.
said in my last video, Charlie describes Springlock suits in the Silver Eyes trilogy by saying,
they could
"I think
be,
they were
but-
costumes. Sometimes people wore them, and sometimes my father put them onto the robots." Which means that Springlock suits can be worn by humans, but also put onto endoskeletons. And if you zoom in close,
You're gonna. Oh my gosh.
on the top right of this image, you can see an endoskeleton wearing the mascot costume. Now, do I think the costume on Night 4 is one of these characters? Maybe, but probably not. I think a costume that's in this style that is more circus themed would be a better fit, since
Maybe a Jester costume? And then you're gonna say that it connects, and then you're gonna say that the endoskeleton inside is the mimic, right?
Baby said that the costume came from her old pizzeria, which was a circus-themed place. What I think these costumes are way more important than the one on Night 4. In the story The Mimic from the Tales books, we learn about Edwin, who is a robotics genius hired by Fazbear Entertainment to turn a...
Oh, yeah. You know what? Before, I'm gonna say this right now. What he's gonna say here is that the events in this book are parallels, and that it was actually Henry who made the Force Charlie bot into a mimic. That is not what happened. The books are, Tales at least is canon to the games. So whatever happens in the books happens in the games. None of this parallel stuff.
From the Tales books, we learn about Edwin, who is a robotics genius hired by Fazbear Entertainment to turn a bunch of random mascot costumes into actual animatronics.
There's a Jester
And during
costume.
the story, Scott made an effort to point out which animatronics Edwin was creating. Edwin was turning the following mascot costumes into animatronics. Quote, a brown Freddy Fazbear, a bright yellow chick, a blue bunny, and a pirate fox. This is the first time we learned that the main 4 animatronics we see in the games didn't start as animatronics, they started as mascot costumes and were turned into
That happened with everyone, at least I've
something
assumed.
similar to these were those mascot costumes that later got turned into the 4 main animatronics we see in the games. And you probably know by now that I think Edwin is a parallel to Henry.
Yeah, stop. You know what? Don't stop. Because I don't care. But what I will say is that Edwin is not a parallel to Henry. The books are canon. Characters can be similar and exist in the same continuity. This happens a lot, actually.
Henry. A big reason
He's not a parallel. Edwin is a separate character.
for why I believe this is because Henry was the one who created the main 4 animatronics.
What? Wait.
See in the games. And you probably know by now that I think Edwin is a parallel to Henry. A big reason for why I believe this is because Henry was the one who created the main 4 animatronics.
Okay, but what does that have to do with Edwin? What does that have to do with Edwin? Let alone him being a parallel. That has nothing to do with anything.
It's not Edwin. Henry says this in FNAF 6.
The loss of innocence, the loss of everything.
We're not saying that Edwin created the classics. We're saying he built the Mimic. Because he did.
So many people. Small souls trapped in prisons of my making. now set to new purpose.
The thing about Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy starting as mascot costumes is something I don't see talked about a lot. But what were these mascot costumes used for? There's currently no restaurant that we know of that's older than Fredbear's Family Diner. Well, I think that's because these costumes weren't being used at a restaurant. In the story The Mimic and Now in Ruin, we learn about a bunch of random mascot costumes featuring characters.
One of these was a jester
in the books, there's a
costume.
mushroom costume, a gopher costume, a jester costume, and in the games there's a bird and a lion. Lion, 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 lion. I think these costumes are trying to tell us that the story of FNAF started at a traveling carnival. This
Here, wait, hold on.
costume and in the games
So yeah, so why are you bringing the jester costume from the books into the games to support your baby mimic theory?
and a lion. I think these costumes are trying to tell us that the story of FNAF started at a traveling carnival. This is further backed up in the Silver Eyes trilogy. When Charlie is going through Henry's workshop
Again with the Silver Eyes trilogy. You love using those books.
after his death, she finds a book about the history of the traveling carnival and of the circus. This is something that's never explained again in the whole trilogy, but I think Scott put that in there as a hint to how the story of FNAF began. In Security Breach, there's one collectible that stands out.
That is actually true. We don't have a lot when it comes to the origins of the series. Like, it's pretty much all been inference. We can trace back to like as far as the 70s, not even like the 70s, like the late 70s. So yeah, okay.
From the rest. Fredbear's singing show. I actually really like how Matt Pat interpreted.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, I remember Matt Pat using this poster in his timeline, which I don't fully agree with, by the way, as like William's first like spark in his journey to form Fazbear Entertainment.
This poster in his timeline video.
Let's see where he goes with
This
it.
poster is obviously very old, with it being in black and white, the ticket price only being 50 cents, the gramophone, and the pie-shaped eyes. I mean, this looks just like an old 1930s Mickey Mouse poster, with the same pie-shaped eyes and the same style of lettering. But the name of the poster doesn't sound like a restaurant, it sounds like an attraction. And I think this attraction was a part of the traveling carnival, and was where the story of FNAF began. I think what the story The Mimic was trying to tell us
Didn't Matt Pat already tell this story?
was that Fazbear Entertainment
Theory.
bought out the traveling carnival, and they started turning the mascot costumes from that carnival into animatronics for their new restaurants. The main 4 animatronics stayed together and formed Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, but the goofier costumes were reused for Circus Baby's Pizza World, a circus-themed restaurant. But not all of the mascot costumes were turned into animatronics. In the epilogues of the Tales books, we learned that this is the case. A lot of these mascot costumes were being held in the FNAF 6 pizzeria, and in the epilogues of the Tales books, it's only really the goofier costumes that were left in the FNAF 6 pizzeria. Those goofier costumes were still around, and I think were reused for Circus Baby's Pizza World, and I think we were put into one of those on night 4 of Sister Location. I've suspected for a while now that a lot of these mascot costumes were being held in the FNAF 6 pizzeria. And in the epilogues of the Tales books, it's only really the goofier costumes that were left in the FNAF 6 pizzeria. Those goofier costumes were still around, and I think were reused for Circus Baby's Pizza World, and I think we were put into one of those on night 4 of Sister Location. I've suspected for a while now that Circus
I guess I can agree with that.
is a key part of the story Scott and Steelwool are trying to tell. I've already gone.
No.
I think we were put
there we go. So you have
on
up and down
Sister
points
Location.
here.
I've suspected for a while now that Circus Baby is a key part of the story Scott and Steelwool are trying to tell.
And I can tell you now that that is not the case. There has not been a single hint to Baby after FNAF 6.
I've already gone over all of the evidence for why I think that's the case in my.
Yes, I know you have in your past like 3 or 4 videos, but all those are based off of your belief that the Tales books are parallels, which they're not. So what the hell?
Previous videos. But while researching for this video, I found something interesting. There's an Easter egg that's extremely rare in the Curse of Dreadbear DLC that's.
How did I know he'd bring up Curse of Dreadbear? And he's gonna say the Golden Freddy thing and Help wanted Curse of Dreadbear.
Gone unexplained for years now. When you beat a minigame, you're.
I knew it. He's gonna say the 3 clown posters that when you hit it, make "It's Me" appear on the wall, which you're gonna say is Cassidy or some shit.
This area that looks like a birthday party inside of a barn. Behind you and to the sides of you are posters, and by a very rare chance, you can get 3 clown posters. And if you haven't noticed yet, this is the exact same clown poster as the one in FNAF 6.
Again,
and
it's
we know that
reusing
this
assets.
poster and clowns in general are heavily associated with circus babies.
Yes, but not every time.
And when you pick up the darts and throw a dart at each poster, this happens.
Sometimes, you realize sometimes a clown poster can just be a clown poster?
A black light turns on, revealing "It's Me." This only happens with the clown posters. I think that the story of Five Nights at Freddy's...
Okay, so you're not... Now you're focused on what causes the "It's Me" and not the "It's Me" itself, which is related to Golden Freddy.
With a traveling carnival, with the characters we all know and love starting as mascot costumes before being turned into actual animatronics and getting their own restaurants. But although Fazbear Entertainment bought out the carnival theme lived on with Circus Baby's Pizza World. There, they reused some of the old mascot costumes from the carnival. One of those costumes was the one we were put into on Night 4 of Sister Location. I believe that this concept art is showing us the type of costume we were put into. But what costume that specifically was is a mystery I'm guessing we'll learn more about when we revisit the Sister Location bunker in Help Wanted 2. Subscribe if you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribe.
That was cool at the end. I thought my computer was having a stroke, but yeah. I mean, that's literally, that's all I have. Nothing else. Hopefully I can get this video out fast, but yeah, I don't know, because a lot of this theory is based off of other theories, so I don't know, man. But is it possible? Yes, of course. Do I hate the theory? No. Do I disagree with it? Yes. But that's just what happens. It's just what happens. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.